spreading smiles. We shall be spreading enduring smiles. Amongst all those born with some challenges, physical and psychological afflictions, when we provide assistance, incommensurate with their physical and mental needs, to provide health protection, to shore up their physio-psycho-health condition, by providing medical cover to needy, then on significant recovery, bestow them education, so necessary, besides training in art or craft, so suited in each case, so that challenged could stand on their legs, then lead a life of self-assurance, with a paradigm shift from living on crutches of devils, rather than living on self-dependence, thus, living in an ecosystem of self-help, to stand up and face life with confidence, with self-esteem writ large on their faces. Thence, instead of living on charities, would like to contribute to spreading smiles to all those deserving ones. Those who accept the challenges of the hapless challenged are the chosen gifts of our omnipotent and omniscient God.
Evidently, those who contribute for multiplying happiness and dividing smiles, especially amongst those who are physically and psychologically challenged, are obviously performing yeoman's service to persons concerned particularly and to the community in general. Spreading happiness to physically and mentally sound people is easier since it is known what it entails to make them happy, but when question is related to physically and psychologically challenged group of individuals, then it requires ocean of expertise to gauge the problem of the person, reserve of patience, tenacity to resolve problem, congenial environment, understanding the psyche of the persons concerned to make difference, and then bestowing appropriate training etc. so that such individuals could also feel pride in living as normal individuals as you and me do without any stigma attached. What transformational influence consistent supervision, grooming, and training can do is realized by us during a visit to Center for Differently Abled and Gifted Children called Muskan, a synonym of smile, located at Vasant Kunj, New Delhi. This visit offered us the opportunity of interacting with the center head, a person who contributes immensely along with a team of motivated teachers and changing the lives of those who are having various types of disabilities like autism spectrum disorder connected with neurodevelopment disorder leading to difficulty in communication and interaction, slow in learning processes, or in other words persons with intellectual disabilities, problems related with seeing and hearing or other challenges of mind and body etc. The elegance and finesse with which this center is running speaks volumes. What a total involvement and commitment can be seen to be believed. Your visionary zeal and enthusiasm, empathy and graces of your omnipotent and omniscient comes into play. Spreading smiles should be the purpose of our life, to say the least. Our salute to their unwavering resolve, perseverance besides pushiness despite hurdles and tackling the challenges of those who are challenged. At Muskan, compassionate souls are making the lives of challenged children purposeful and inspirational in a way an expert sculptor chisels the uneven granite into a wonderful piece of the statue which immortalizes his work, leaving everybody to appreciate his workmanship. My prayer to God is that such Muskan, smile, spreading centers multiply to divide the smiles amongst those who need the same, the most. Function of optimism in spreading happiness quotient. Optimistic means hoping or believing that things will happen appropriately. It is favorable view of events or situations or conditions and expectation of favorable outcome. A sort of positive expectations. The root word for is optima, meaning the best. It means good expectations in any given situations or conditions. An optimist will see a ray of hope even when actually there's little or no hope of its recovery in normal circumstances. For example, the doctor tries to revive a person afflicted with the most debilitating disease with little or no hope of survival. Or an expert dealing with physically or mentally challenged condition makes difference in the lives of differently abled children by proper training and avid attention. If we have optimum hope, things turn in our way in magical ways. I remember an incident during my youth when I was swimming in a canal. Suddenly the current of water increased, due to which I lost control. Despite that, I tried my utmost to restore my balance, yet the severity of the current was too much for me. I started drifting to the other side of the bank where the water was being transferred to another channel, and the force of water has increased beyond my imagination. Seeing a shred of grass on the bank, due to which I lunged ahead with full force, and by the grace of God, I held that lump of grass and saved myself from being drifted. After I recovered, I found that the water from the main channel fell from an elevation of around 20 feet to another channel. The uncontrolled fall could have made my survival in jeopardy. Only an optimistic approach in the God's bounties saved me. Optimism is characterized by positive approach. We should always remember that those who are optimists are always positive in their words and deeds. Optimists seek the light even in the pitch darkness. Though broken with fatigue, they steer clear off any hurdle in which they were thrust due to one reason or other. If sometimes they fail to make a grade, they just try again and again till they get through. Such people are realist, reasonable, and maybe weak in health but not in their mental strength. They have the attitude of go-getter, anyhow try again attitude. Real happiness comes when we succeed by challenging failure. It is also a fact that in life, it is not that we always succeed. Failure can also stare us on the face sometimes, but our motto should be to not to lose heart and take on the challenge head on. The success God thus brings us real happiness. Search for happiness, reign in the mind. Happiness is a state of our mind, nor it is got through wishful thinking. It should always be remembered that if you search for happiness, it goes away from you. It is not a tangible thing which could be searched and found out. A true happiness is not a fruit which could easily be plucked from a tree. There are certain rules of the game. There are people who lose their cool and peace on the silliest pretext, or the ones suffering from superior complex. Whenever somebody pricks the balloon of bloated superiority, it bursts with a huge bang. A huge obsession with my is the cause of unhappiness. Equanimity comes when we do not lose of composure on the slightest provocation and stop becoming compulsive reactive. Real happiness lies within us, just by reigning in the mind through reasonableness. Happiness is a state of our mind. Parameters of happiness are various, such as capacity for thoughtful actions. Our happiness depends on our ability to think rationally and apply that thought to action, which makes fundamental difference not merely in the present but also future paradigm of thoughts and actions which affect our overarching perspectives of our life. Our happiness is in relation to others around us. It has been observed that we are infatuated with individual happiness. We as humans are tightly linked to our relatives, friends, and the environment surrounding us. Therefore, our happiness quotient is not dissociated from others around us. We are not happy when our relatives and friends are unhappy, or when our surrounding is not appropriate to live happily. Happiness in relation to economic standard. To enhance the economic standard of the people, it is paramount that the achievement motivation, partly by simple training and partly by giving awards for good results, so as to enthuse the people to achieve excellence for better results. Realizing the real purpose of life. The real purpose of our life is to seek connectivity with our root. When we become successful, the happiness we get just cannot be explained with words. A true hunger for finding truth amidst the malaise of confusion which pervades around should be the motto of our life. Never forget that every creature has to perish one day. It should always be remembered that we have a perishable life. No medical help or any other magic trick can stop death for anyone who is born. This being a universal truth should never be forgotten in our life. When an appropriate situation comes, then we should always think and try to wriggle ourselves out the best way we can, and the amount of happiness that we get through this exercise is unlimited. Never disturb the balance of Mother Nature, Prakriti. While enjoy all the elements of nature to the best of our satisfaction, then it is our bounden duty to respect Mother Nature. It should always be kept in mind that during our fulfillment and enjoyment we should not disturb the natural balance, otherwise we shall have to suffer the pangs of our karma, because the nature gives in abundance, but when it is violated it never forgives our misdeeds. Its retributions come in the form of the earthquakes, tsunami, blizzards, floods and dry spells, etc., meaning it enhances our happiness quotient, but when disused, it could prove to be counterproductive. Living spiritual-oriented life multiplies our happiness. First of all, we should be able to understand spiritualism. Spiritual principles are based on truth, pure consciousness, pure knowledge, pure perception, pure conception, doing everything without fear because it is based on purity in thought and action thereof, pure desires, righteousness, compassion or kindness, love and renunciation without any inhibition of any kind, etc. In other words, whatever the path we follow, we do it truthfully, systematically and with enthusiasm. Desire, freedom, liberation, positive attitude, compassion, with a sense of sacrifice, giving away possessions in excess of one's own basic necessities without any expectations in return, living purposefully following moral turpitude, unity of self with the universe, contributing holistically for the upliftment of body, mind and soul, enabling and empowering, enrichment, commitment for enduring peace and happiness besides eternal bliss. Living a spiritual life, thus, means living a life of eternal happiness.